Take that. Oh, okay. Well, whatever I did it right.
Did you now?
Yeah, I guess so. I'm flying through more rings, so that's a good thing.
Yes.
Did I just say that was a good thing? Well, I've gotten delirious. Oh, great, now they're moving.
Oh, no! I wasn't hard enough.
God, even Knights wasn't this crazy. Hold that shit steady. I'd actually like to see somebody fly at this at top speed.
See, now I can't play Sonic anymore, because every time I see...
Yeah, I understand. Sonic.
Yeah, I hear you. See, I can't play Sonic anymore, Will, because every time I see rings, I'm just get pissed off.
Well, whose fault is that?
Superman's, actually. Titus. You know, actually, it's funny, Will, I actually did a little research, because I wanted to find out more about Titus.
Seems everything Titus or Titus is involved in spells out bad.
Well, they actually were around since the 80s. 85. They actually did make quite a few games. Unfortunately, then they made this, and they also made a real shitty RoboCop game, and back in 2003, and then well, they got bought out in 2000, or bought off or dissolved in 2005, something like that. So. Oh, and the funny thing, and then in 2010, they were talking like the former guy who ran Titus, and of course he blamed DC Comics for this.
How you gonna blame DC Comics?
They put a lot of restrictions on us, and put on all these things, all these guidelines, and we weren't ready.
Restrictions on Superman?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think the only restriction they'd give you is...
Or restrictions on the powers. You couldn't have so many powers, or I don't know, something like that.
Why would they do that? I mean, it's DC and Superman. They wouldn't do that. The only restriction they would put on him is he can't kill.
I don't know.
And probably certain characters couldn't die. That's it.
Oh, I also saw something else, an interesting comment that was made. This game was actually shown at E3. Let that sink in for a second.
I'm gonna find that E3 footage now. E3 1999, or wait,
I think it was 97, 98. I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Must have been interesting to see it play back then.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, it'd be funny if this was actually broadcasted at E3. What did they say about it on stage?
I don't know. I don't know how that on-screen... Because I know they did do like those on-screen demos.
Well, yeah, and they have to talk about it. Like, how do you talk in front of this and make this look good?
I saw the demo like before we played the game, and like the demo was even having problems. But you know it's bad when the demo can't play itself.
Ghostbusters 2.
Exactly. You know there's a problem here. God,
even post-commentary or not, it even feels like I'm like, oh, don't miss it. Even post, I'm like, I gotta forget it. I'm not even doing it anymore. I already did it.
Okay.
Play shoot man.
I don't know. Like I said, after Super Nintendo, I then went the Sony PlayStation route.
Betrayal!
How did you go?
I guess you could say I went the... Well, I was already half-heartedly betrayed, because I had both the Sega and Nintendo. I had all the worlds growing up, so I just went for the next best thing, which was PlayStation. I didn't get a 64 till actually.
Things are very recent, dude.
No, not well. A year, many years.
You've had it for a while.
Yeah, I've had it for many years.
You just don't play it very often because I don't think you have a lot of 64 games.
Well, I have the mainstream ones.
I know you have Castlevania Legacy of Darkness.
I've got
I bought that for you, but can you play it?
Oh yeah.
You said you had problems saving it.
I got a memory card.
Okay, that's good.
So, yeah, we can play the game now. Yeah, I've got Star Fox 64, Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Super Mario. So yeah, I've got all the mainstream titles for it. But yeah, everything else that was for it, you could have gotten it on PlayStation and played better.
Right. I just love how glitchy and buggy this thing is.
I know, it's amazing. It's like, forget it, just run into him.
I guess. Oh, I know what happened. That kid got shot. That's what happened.
Why couldn't I just do what
he got drilled right through the heart and died.
Why couldn't I do what he did in the movie and be like, catch the bullet?
Well, because these are Superman 64 controls.
Oh yeah, so even if I could do it, I wouldn't know how to do it, and even if I did know how to do it, I'd probably miss.
There you go. Yeah, there you have it.
Is it possible to make a really good Superman game? or is he forever cursed to have horrible games simply because he's over?
Shadow Apocalypse, which was good.
Yeah, but that was just good. But at the same time,
at least that game was at least competent.
It was
a game.
Yeah, the only problem is that the story is really weak.
Yeah, thank you. I was about to say that the only problem with that game is it had a weak story.
Because the game, of course, you can forgive a lot if the story in a game really is really good. And I think Final Fantasy really does that.
I think, Will, when I rethink about that, that was supposed to be the start of like a new line of games. I just think Shadow of Apocalypse didn't sell all that well.
Actually, I think what happened was the business went out of business.
Probably what happened.
That and probably didn't sell out well because, oh yeah, that's right. The reason why it didn't sell that well is because it came this was in 19
monstrosity.
Yeah, you're right after, so there was
no hope.
So yeah, it was doomed from the start.
Even though it was a decent game,
which is a real shame.
And you can see our walkthrough of it right here on the channel or at our website. Yes, well, I'm going to plug ourselves. Why not? Any chance I get.
But
especially if you're watching this on the Next Gamer Network. Hey.
But yeah, there was a Superman Shadow of Apocalypse. As a game in general, it's fuck it. I'm just gonna go through this one. Yeah, as a game by itself, it's still not bad because the gameplay is still playable. It's still competent. It's a game,
right?
And it works.
They did a good job capturing Superman.
In fact, it plays a lot better than Superman Returns does.
Oh yeah,
like controls wise, it's really good. But the only real flaw with it, and in fact, this is probably the only flaw that can kill a game for you, period, no matter how good the gameplay is if the story is weak. And if the story is really weak, then it just kills it. Fortunately, we were able to play the game all the way through and still have fun with it because it was Superman.
Right.
But in the end, it's just, the story could have been so much better.
Yeah. It was just centered around Metallo.
Which really sucks because Darkseid was in it.
Yeah, like he was kind of on the sidelines. That's why I felt like I had a feeling that maybe it was about this was a set up to like another game, which would have Darkseid. I don't have a problem with Metallo, but like I said, I don't see him as worthy of being the boss of a game.
And I do have to give the makers of Shadow of Apocalypse credit because they did not have a big budget. So for them to have made that good game with as little of a budget as they had to have had.
Now there's another Superman game, I believe it was exclusive for the Xbox. No, not the 360, but the first Xbox. It was called Superman Man of Steel. And I heard a lot of bad things about that one too.
I have not heard anything about it.
I actually remember watching a review. I read a review a long time ago.
See, I'm walking on air! I'm walking on air!
You're walking on sunshine.
No, I'm walking on air. It's different. If I was walking on sunshine, it'd be more powerful.
And again, you're just doing the same thing over and over.
It's like just fly into them.
Yes. And another thing I love was sometimes how the sound effects get caught,
stuck in their own.
Yeah, stuck in a cycle. So it sounds like you're running, but you're not.
I'm just I don't care. I really don't care.
Hey, well, guess what movie I saw today for the first time? Tangled.
Oh, yeah, Disney movie.
And it actually was not too bad.
Oh, yeah, it was a good movie. Better than Brave.
I get a little apprehensive with... Oh, there's still one more guy left. I get a little apprehensive with Disney movies nowadays that aren't Pixar. Because they have been kind of hit and miss for a while now. But I have to say, I thought that one was pretty good. And I was surprised to see it was a musical. It was a full-on musical, and there was some really nice songs in it. Oh, and guess who was the voice of Rapunzel? Mandy Moore.
Yeah.
Mandy Moore. She did a great job. So I enjoyed that film.
Oh man. Is this the best commentary for Superman 64? I don't know. I was too lazy to watch others.
There's another Disney movie coming on soon, Bolt, the one with the dog.
Oh.
I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Oh, yeah, I have.
I don't have any interest in that.
Oh, you should give it a shot.
Is it alright?
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's a really good movie. It's a really good movie, actually.
Okay. I don't know. Like I said,
I can tell you the furries love it.
well, I get when I think of that, I think of Lady and Tramp.
Oh, but no, Bolt definitely stands on because what it is it's about a dog who was born into the movie industry, and it literally has been trained to believe that it's this superhero.
Oh,
But the thing is, it's only a superhero on the set, and they make the movies about this dog, and they have a lightning bolt like on his fur and the dog's completely unaware that it's all fake, and the movie industry even explains this to the little girl that owns him, is that we need him to believe he's really in this role. And then he's really believing it too, because they set it up perfectly, and they're like, that's why we do everything in one take, because we can't do repeats. It's got to be right on the first try. And then unfortunately, by some happenings when he's dropped into the real world, he still believes he's got these powers, and then he's kind of understanding that everything's fake and he doesn't have any power. And what was kind of funny about that is that some of the outside animals knew about this and they were fucking with him, like they were bad guys.
Oh, really?
Because like after he would film a part, they would sneak in and kind of like monologue to him as if they were villains, and they knew it was a joke, but they knew that he was believing it, and that was the really funny part. But what's really funny is like how those same guys that were like messing with him, they kind of help him out later. So I definitely give it a shot because it's creative. It's honestly it's a story I haven't heard before.
Well, like I said, there was like a time span where you had these Disney movies that just seemed like they weren't like they were okay movies, but they weren't exactly to the Disney standard. Movies like Chicken Little and
I think you'd like
Meet
this
the
one.
Robinsons.
Meet the Robinsons I didn't like.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you watch Bolt, you might like it.
But Tangled was very good. Wreck-It Ralph was excellent. So maybe they're coming back. You know what? One Disney movie I actually think is kind of underrated. The Black Cauldron.
I don't know if that's underrated or not. I just know that a lot of people hate it.
I know a lot of people hate it, but I don't think it's that bad. I really don't. I know.
Honestly, I don't think I ever saw it.
It's good. It's considered like the black sheep. Well, one thing it really sticks out with because it's really, really dark and really, like, really, really.
Grab and throw the two mind jobbers.
Yeah, do that.
These guys are hard to see too.
But it had a cool villain, the Horned King, which I thought was pretty. But when you're dealing with things like the Horde King and how evil he looked and Army of the Dead, yeah, it was pretty serious.
You know how a map really would have helped in this place.
Well, a lot of things would have helped with this. Like, competence would have helped with this thing.
Like a map just to tell me where half this stuff was.
Yeah.
And it's really sad when you're throwing enemies and you have to trust that the game's going to blow them up.
Oh, okay. I know we all saw Ego Raptor's sequelitis video about Mega Man and Mega Man X, and I love him and that video, but I don't give a fuck! I'm going to talk about it anyway. In that video, he talked about one of the great things about Mega Man Classic is that the Mega Man Classic games can actually teach you how to play its game through its level design. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Take that basic concept and do a 180-degree turn, and you have Superman 64. This game teaches you look at this. This game teaches you absolutely nothing about how to play it. You will literally be doing the same thing over and over and over again for hours, just trying to figure out what to do.
Hell, you'll still be trying to figure out how the controls work. And in fact, interestingly enough, there's also, I looked up the manual. Mm-hmm. There's an X-ray vision.
But it never...
Where did we ever have to use that?
That emphasizes my point. This game never teaches you or tells you anything about when to use or what to do it.
When did we ever have to use it? When was it ever brought up?
At least with the rings, you know what to do. But when you get into the actual gameplay moments of this game...
You're taken by surprise.
Dude, it's complete trial and error. You basically have to try to figure out shit on your own.
Really?
This is like the spiritual successor to Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I mean, this is just a great study about how badly design a game and now how to teach it about people how to play it.
Yeah.
Because it literally just throws you into it.
Yeah, this whole part where you have to fly through like different rings that go into a freaking crossroad is really horrible.
Again, it doesn't teach you that. It's like a combination of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and Milon's Secret Castle, where it's like it's supposed to be secret. But it's not secret if it's something you absolutely need to do in order to play the game.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a secret if you need it.